Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my diary entry for the weeks of May 11th through the 24th. Today is Saturday, May 24th. Let's just get the elephant out of the room. I do have some new glasses. So I just picked these up today. I'm having a real hard time adjusting to them, so we'll see how this goes. But I had to kind of fiddle with my lighting as well because these glasses are really glary. So I'm going to try not to tilt my head up too much and just kind of keep it down like this. But please excuse if you see me tilt my head up a little bit. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but yes. I have read a few things since I talked to you last. I have worked on a few projects since I talked to you last. You might also have noticed the finished object in the thumbnail. We did have a little bit of outings, or a few outings this week, so I'll share with you about that, and we'll do a little life catch-up at the end. So let's get into it. So as far as what I have been reading lately, our Monochrome Manga Club meeting was this past week, and so definitely had to read those volumes. You know, every month I clear my decks to make sure that I get those volumes read. So I just finished recording my Monochrome Manga Club series First Impressions video on the 2 first in a series selections, and those were Your Turn to Die, Majority Vote Death Game, Volume 1 by Nankidai, and art by Tatsuya Ikegami. This one is published by Yen Press, rated teen. We also read Volume 1 of Kaiju number 8 by Naoya Matsumoto. This one is published by Viz, also rated teen. So since I have a video that'll be dedicated to both of these selections, I will link that down in the description box below in case you're interested in hearing my thoughts on them. But I will tell you that I gave both of the volumes 4 stars, and I'm really looking forward to continuing with those series. We are also continuing our series read of Haikyu with volumes 19, 20, and 21. So these are by Haruichi Furudate, published by Viz, rated teen. So this one is about the boys' volleyball game, who their school used to be at the top, and throughout the years they've kind of fallen down the ranks, and now with this year's incoming freshmen, they make a play to try to get back to the top. I really love this series. You know that I do. I gush about it all the time. 5-star reads all the time. We ended the Shiratorizawa game in these volumes, so in case you've watched the anime or have read the series previously, you'll know where I'm at. Such an exciting game. Really, really enjoy every single time that I read through these volumes. And so I've got nothing more to say on that. If you haven't read Haikyu, I highly suggest that you try it. Even if you're not into sports manga, I think there's so much there as far as character growth, heartwarming moments, and just, you know, the will of these team members to try to make their dreams happen. It's just such an interesting read. There's so much action in the games. It's very, very good. I definitely recommend it if you haven't watched or read Haikyu. And then we continued with Tokyo Revengers, and this one's by Ken Wakui, published by 7 Seas, rated older teen. So this series follows a guy named Takemichi who is in his mid-20s when we meet up with him at the beginning of the series. He's watching television, and a news broadcast comes on that tells him that his girlfriend from middle school was murdered by a gang that he had known back then. And through a twist of events, he ends up being able to travel back in time and try to change things in the past to prevent his girlfriend from being murdered in the future. It's a really, really interesting story. I've told you many times before that I don't usually enjoy stories that jump back and forth in time, but this one I think is done very well, and with each jump, things change and the stakes change, and you kind of watch Takemichi try to figure out, okay, what are my next steps? and also kind of come to terms with what his actions in the past have done to the future. It's such an interesting story, and I'm really, really enjoying watching Takemichi make these decisions and seeing the outcomes of those decisions, and also kind of unlocking little mysteries along the way. It's super interesting. Really, really enjoying this. We're about halfway through at this point, and I'm just really enjoying the ride. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the next volume. So we'll be continuing that with the Monochrome Manga Club in June. And then as far as novels go, I have finished 2 since I talked to you last. I finished Gated Prey, which is the 3rd book in the Eve Ronin series by Lee Goldberg. This is about our female homicide detective, Eve Ronin, who is the youngest in her department. She kind of rose to fame when one of the video clips somebody had taken of her arresting somebody goes viral. And so she uses that to her advantage. She joins the homicide division, and obviously there are a lot of men specifically who do not like how she made her way up the ranks into their department, and she is kind of dealing with their anger in emotional and physical and mental ways, but also just doing a really great job with her partner at solving homicides. So in this particular one, our team, Eve and her partner Duncan, go undercover as a wealthy married couple because there have been a string of home invasion robberies where wealthy couples have been having these happen to them. And so we follow them going undercover and then trying to uncover the people who are doing these home invasion robberies. In this one, there's also a second case where we have a woman who has given birth to I think the term is baby born sleeping. And so we follow them going to the residence of this woman and document the events that had happened in regards to that. There's usually a couple different things that our team investigates in each book. And this one was really interesting. Starts off really like high action because, you're dealing with home invasion robberies. So you see that kind of play out on page. And then you've also got this other thing going on that's not like exciting and high tension, right? It's kind of like a sad type of thing. So this book I've really, really enjoyed. I've actually really enjoyed all 3 Eve Ronin books that I have read. I wasn't able to read the other 2 that I had out from the library, so I had to return them because I had borrowed them too many times. Because like I said, we had borrowed them initially for my mother, and then she had finished them, but I wasn't able to read all of them. I will eventually get to the other 2 again. In fact, I think another one has just recently been published. So really looking forward to continuing with this series. I really am enjoying Eve's character, but like I said, I am still reading her like she is Jane Rizzoli, which I don't think is a bad thing because I do enjoy Jane Rizzoli as a character. But I'm thinking on the next one I might try an audiobook, and I think I will purchase that one with an Audible credit because I am enjoying this series, and I think I will like to invest in the series. And so yeah, I think by listening to it I'll get that like voice of Jane Rizzoli out of my head and be able to like separate Jane from Eve. That might help a bit. So I think the next one is called Movie Land or something, so maybe has to do with the movie industry. We do have that kind of industry play out in the background of this series because Eve's mom and her biological father were in the industry. And so there's mentions of things like that So it's really interesting. I enjoyed it a lot. The investigations are always really interesting as well. Plus, we're getting kind of the countdown of Duncan's retirement with each book, which is still scaring me a little bit because I'm like, I hope he makes it. I don't know. It's giving me a little bit of anxiety having him constantly remind us how many days are left to his retirement. But I am enjoying this pair. I'm enjoying the investigations, and I'm really looking forward to continuing. So I ended up giving that one 4 stars, and then I finished on audio The Reckoning, which is the 3rd book in the Zodiac Academy series by Caroline Peckham and Susanne Valenti. This is a fantasy story about twin girls who were just kicked out of their foster home. They had aged out, and the foster parent immediately kicked them out, and they're just trying to make ends meet any way that they can. They are met with a man who tells them that they are not of this world and that they need to be brought back because it is time for them to rejoin their society. So they are taken pretty forcefully back to Solaria, which is actually where they're originally from, but they had no idea. And they're actually the heirs to the throne. And there are people there that do not want them back. So they're being made to go through this academy, which is kind of like a college setting. And they get hazed really badly. This was kind of sold to me as a bully romance, but I don't kind of consider it that yet because I don't really feel like it's like a romance at this point. Like, there are romantic pairings happening at this point, but I don't feel like that is the meat of this story. So in any case, I am enjoying the journey these girls are going on. They're learning about their abilities. They're learning how to utilize their powers to the best of their abilities. And so in this particular installment, they're going through a test, which is called The Reckoning. And it's basically a test where you need to prove your kind of command of your elemental ability. And if you can't, you need to leave the school. So the girls are really fighting to stay. But of course, there are the people there that don't want them there. And so there's a lot more of the stuff that I didn't care for that had happened more in the first book in the series going on in this one. And the boys are acting up again, and they were being dummies. And I didn't enjoy that either. But I kind of can see some things changing in the mentality of the boys. And so I am enjoying it. But at this point, I have to put a pause on Zodiac Academy because, like I've said before, I am doing the reading order that is recommended by Jamie Johnson, who I believe her handle is That Girl Reads on Instagram. She had done a recommendation on series reading order for Zodiac Academy, and she had laid out, I think, 3 different ways you could go about reading from this world, Solaria. And it's actually 3 different series that are kind of set in Solaria, but they kind of intertwine. And so I'm going with her most highly recommended reading order, which is to read the first 3 of Zodiac Academy and then jump to another series. And that will prevent any spoilers from happening through my read through of the series. And she also said that it's the most emotionally damaging way to absorb this series. So I will be stopping my read of Zodiac Academy now, and then when I decide to pick up in this series or in this world again, I will be starting with the first book in I believe it's a prequel series. And so I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it. I'm not enjoying all of the bullying, and there's some parental abuse going on that is really bad. It's really bad. And yeah, I am enjoying it though. I did listen to this also from the audiobook version that is narrated by two narrators instead of the full cast audiobook, and I much preferred the 2 narrator version. Things were just clearer for me. I didn't have all the distraction of the music and the ambient sounds and the jeering and all of that. I was still able to like kind of come up with that in my own mind, my own imagination, but it wasn't a distraction like the full cast audio was for me. So I will definitely be continuing to listen via audiobook with the 2 narrators, but I think I'm going to try to like go back and forth with listening and reading as well, because I am enjoying this one enough. It's giving me that like academy setting that I enjoy, with a lot of different types of creatures. And I think that's what works best for me. So I'm really enjoying it. I will be continuing, but I'll be going in the reading order that Jamie Johnson recommends. So I ended up giving that one 4 stars, solid 4. Really enjoyed the installment. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. So that's everything that I've read. Currently, I am reading 2 books. I decided to go back and finally start my reread of Breaking Dawn, which is the 4th book in the Twilight Saga by Stephanie Meyer. Reread for me, but I wanted to make sure that I finished my reread of this series. I think I'm about halfway through at this point. I'm not quite sure because I've been listening to it via audiobook. I do enjoy the audiobooks of the Twilight Saga, and so that's kind of how I decided to experience it this time around, was exclusively through audiobook, and I'm enjoying it. So things are definitely starting to pick up in the story where I'm at, and I'm looking forward to continuing at that one. I actually decided to go ahead and pick that one up because I had seen something on like Instagram, or it was some kind of ad or something like that, that said that they were doing a TV series of the Black Dagger Brotherhood series by J.R. Ward. That has been a series that has been on my TBR forever. And it's another vampire series, and I didn't want to be reading vampire series at the same time, so wanted to finish Twilight before I started reading the Black Dagger Brotherhood and seeing if it would be something that I'd be interested in not only reading, continuing to read and watch, but yeah. So decided to go ahead and finish my read through of the Twilight Saga. I am enjoying it. I should be finished with that before the end of the month, I would think. And then I definitely wanted to get something in for middle grade May. And so I started The Replacement by Lindsay Duga. This is a story that is about a girl who has a younger sister, and her family has just moved into this house. Something had changed within her father's occupation, and he's able to work from home a lot more, so they decided to move out of the city and into this house. And there's something strange going on with the house. You definitely get a kind of feel of what it might be from the first couple of chapters of this book. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's definitely something that's a little bit unsettling. I would say there are unsettling things going on, but it doesn't feel like super like new, like a new type of concept. What's going on feels very familiar to me, like I've read something like this before, but I am enjoying it. I've read another book by Lindsay Duga. I think it was called The Girl in the Headlights or something like that a couple years ago, I think, and enjoyed that one as well, which is why I wanted to read this one. And so, yeah, I think on chapter 6, and I'm enjoying it. So I know this one is available for me on Hoopla in ebook and audiobook. So if you're interested in checking that one out, check to see if your Hoopla offers it. And yeah, so that's pretty much everything that I'm reading right now. So I think it's time for another Yarnie update. Okay, so I've got 2 projects to talk to you about this week. First of all, we'll go through my finished pair of socks. So I did finally finish my Little Muppet socks. These are my self-striping vanilla sock pattern We've got a 2x2 rib, about 45 rows in the leg. I did Kay Jones's butterfly heel, which is, it's not really a short row heel, but it's kind of increase and decrease type of heel. She has it in a couple of her patterns, but the one that I followed was from her Rumple Socks pattern, which is the one that I have that has it in it. So I decided to go ahead and put that in. I did about 50 rows in the foot, and then I did my lightning toe, which is basically just a rounded toe without the tab. You can see that I did run out of yarn. There is a little belly button here. This is Little Muppets by Moose and You yarns. The kind of more darker gray charcoal is Onion Nettle Sock yarn, and they're kind of like black color. And then I just used some Knit Picks Stroll in black to finish off this toe. Really, really love these. They're super fun. I always think of the Muppets when I see them, just because, you know, I can see the little corresponding colors like Kermit and Miss Piggy. I still don't know if this is Scooter, Skeeter, Beaker, but in any case, I really love those characters, and like maybe Sam the Eagle, I'm not sure, but that's kind of who I think about when I see the gray. Really, really glad to have these socks done, and so got my next finished object done, which is great. Another pair of socks that I had started but not yet finished has been completed, so that's great as well. And so that kind of got me thinking about like what I wanted to work on next, and it wasn't a sock. I think I told you before that I don't think that I'm a sock knitter. Like, socks are not where it's at for me as far as my making goes. But a couple weeks ago, I think I shared with you a yarn haul from the Joann's that was closing by me. And I've just been thinking about starting to knit that tank top that I bought yarn for. We actually went to that Joann's today to see if they were still open, and they were actually closed. So no more Joann's for me. But in any case, I've been thinking a lot about starting that tank top. And I thought, you know what? You've got another summer project that you've already started. Why don't you finish that first, and then you can cast on that tank? So that's what I did. So I think you recognize this bag, right? My Compay bag. Inside this bag is my like cotton shirt project. So this is the shirt that I was working on. This is the Gemini by Jane Richmond, I think is her name. Yes, Jane Richmond. This is a free pattern on the Knitty website, and I'm doing this in Knit Picks Cotton yarn in the color Swan. So it's kind of like a off-white kind of color. I really, really enjoy how this looks. It definitely reminds me of a top that I used to have in a kind of color that's very close to this as well. And so I'm really, really excited to get this done. Knit Picks Cotton yarn is a 70% tangy cotton and 30% linen. 123 yards, 50 grams, and it's a DK weight. So this is the little skein that I'm working off of right now. I haven't done much on this, so I am here where the Brontosaurus is. This is where I was when I talked to you about this project last, and so I've done maybe about an inch or so. I am almost done with the body on this. I think I've got a couple more inches and an increase to do, because this one does have increases on the bottom of the top for hips. So got a couple of increases to do, or one more set of increases, I think, and then I will bind off and then work on the sleeves. And this one doesn't have much of a sleeve either. It's just got a few rounds. So this is almost done. Like, I am almost there. So I just need to put a little bit of time in on this, and I will have a nice summer top. Really, really looking forward to this. This yarn does have a lot of vegetable matter in it. And so I find myself like trying to pick it out as I knit, but sometimes as I'm knitting through it, I get too lazy and I just knit it in. Because it does take a little bit of time, to stop knitting and pull out the vegetable matter. And, sometimes it's just 1 or 2 stitches and then you come across another piece of vegetable matter. So I'm hoping that when I block this and like soak it, I'll give it a little kind of a vigorous kind of swish, try to get all of that vegetable matter out. But I don't feel a lot of it like in the fabric. I feel it when I'm knitting. And so, yeah, looking forward to having this as a finished item relatively soon. And then I will allow myself to start on my tank top. But yes, really, really happy with this. I'm just going round and round and round in stockinette. I'm liking this yarn. It feels really nice worked up in this stockinette as opposed to how it feels in the skein. So if you ever purchase like the Kotlin yarn and you feel the skein and you're just like, oh, that's kind of crunchy. It does feel crunchy in the skein, but when you work it up, it softens up a lot. And I think with wash, it should soften up some more. So really looking forward to having this, and yeah, kind of whittling down my ongoing whips before I start new projects. But I will say that the next project that I do after I'm done with this is definitely going to be that tank top, because I'm still thinking about starting it. And so definitely want to kind of jump on that inspiration while I have it, But in any case, that's all of the knitting that I've done lately. We've been quite busy with work and the changes and things that are going on. So last week, daughter and I went to go see the Demon Slayer Mugen Train movie in the theater. Really enjoyed it. It's got one of the most heartbreaking things that happens in the series in that particular section of the series. And we got a little glimpse into the upcoming movie that's going to continue the series, because they're not doing anime series anymore. They're going to do movies for the rest of the story. So we got a sneak peek as to what's going to happen in that, what it looks like. I think that comes out in September sometime around my birthday, which will be nice. Just really, really enjoyed our experience with that. So we had a lot of fun. We went to Disney's California Adventure last night to check out the 70th anniversary merch, grab some of the new foods. Again, wasn't really inspired to pick up the camera a lot, but I did film a little short clip of a couple of the items we tried, which was a lemon pound cake shake from Schmoozies, which was really good. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Very, very much like a drinkable dessert. And then we also got the 70th celebration Mickey waffles from Schmoozies, which is a confetti cake kind of Mickey waffle. It's got like those confetti sprinkles inside the Mickey waffle batter, and then it's filled with like a strawberry kind of yogurt. That's kind of the consistency for me. It was like a strawberry yogurt, and it came with strawberry whipped cream on the side. Really, really good. I would definitely get those again. And so we kind of just walked around. We did Toy Story Mania with the new 70th anniversary overlay. I got best score in vehicle, which was great. And we did a couple of other rides. We went on one of the rides in Cars Land that I think I've only ridden once, if at all, before. It was like the Luigi's somethings where you get into the cars and the cars kind of dance. It was really fun. I would definitely ride that one again. And then, we just did a lot of shopping. And so, yeah, that was last night. So kind of tattered today, but I got the call that my glasses were ready, so I definitely wanted to go get those. So I went to go pick those up today, and then I wanted to make sure that, you know, my eyes adjusted to it, because I got my prescription, and my prescription is pretty strong compared to what I had. And so I wanted to make sure that, you know, I wasn't going to have any issues. And I'm having issues. I'm having a lot of issues. And so I think this adjustment is just going to be a lot of like wait and see, hope that my eyes adjust to it and see what happens, because I am having a bit of difficulty focusing on everything, like not only my distance vision but my near vision as well. And I got these glasses are for distance, and I don't feel like they're doing what they should be doing, if you know what I mean. I'm still having to look at things for a bit before my eyes adjust to what I'm seeing. And I think that's really weird. I don't remember having that happen before, but yeah. I'm also having a problem reading things because these are distance, but my other glasses were also distance glasses, and I didn't have trouble reading things as much as I'm having now. So I definitely needed a different pair for reading, and so now I don't know. I have two pairs of glasses. I have distance and I have reading, and I don't know like how this is all going to work for me. It seems like I can read the computer okay from the distance that it's at currently, but my computer screens for work are a little bit farther away, so it should be even better considering the distance is further. So we'll see how that goes, but I am having a bear of a time trying to get my eyes to adjust to these new glasses today. I've only had them on for maybe 5 hours at this point, and I am noticing, like, we were out and about at Target, and I was having a really hard time shopping, just because my eyes would not adjust. And even now when I'm at home, I'm having a hard time because my eyes are not adjusting. And so we'll see how this goes. I'm not sure about these new frames. I kind of feel like they make me look a little older. But, you know, new frames are always difficult to kind of, you know, adjust to as well, right? You get accustomed to seeing yourself a certain way, right? And glasses are part of that. And so, yeah, I got these. I like them. I think they fit my face okay. I do think they make me look a little older, but that's okay. You know, whatever. But yeah, as far as work goes, we're kind of moving things along. My coworker will retire at the end of this coming week. We have her replacement, who is actually a previous coworker of mine. So just that transition's going to be a little bit rocky. I did get the green light to be moved to the new team, but that won't happen for another 30 to 45 days. So we're looking at that happening in July for me, which should work out really well for my new coworker, because that'll give her time to get adjusted to the goings on of my previous coworker's desk and all of the ins and outs of what that all means, and what she will be taking over from me and my job before I move to the new team. So things are progressing. Changes are about. I have been told that my schedule is going to change. So for the past 15 years or so, I have been on a 4-day work schedule. So I work my full-time hours throughout those 4 days, and then I get Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. That is not acceptable for the new position. And so I will be losing my Friday off, and I will have to go back to working 5 days a week. I do not yet know what that is going to mean for my filming schedule, because I normally take the Friday to rest up and have a relaxation day before I do all of my filming and editing on the weekend. And now that I won't have that, I'll have to think of something. I also don't know if the back in office work order is going to apply to me once that new change happens as well. So we're just going to take things one step at a time. Lots of changes going on. And I kind of got to not let it overwhelm me, because if I think about it all too much, it definitely gets overwhelming. But we'll just take it slow, see how it goes. And yeah, other than that, it's pretty much everything that I've been up to lately. Lots of change. My reading has definitely slowed down. I feel it. I see it. But I'm okay with that. Next month is Pride Month, and I always participate in my friend Bizarre Individuals manga Pride readathon, or I think it's called the Pride Manga Readathon this year. And so we'll definitely be focusing on Pride manga during the month. I'll definitely also be wanting to slip in some LGBTQIA plus novels during the month. I had an excellent time reading those last year, so I definitely want to check some other titles out this year and hopefully enjoy them. So those are my plans for reading in the month of June. If you're interested in participating in Bizarre's Pride Manga Readathon during the month of June, I will leave his announcement and TBR video down in the description box below. Definitely go check him out. He has loads of recommendations. There is a bingo board if you're interested in reading into that as well. And he gives some suggestions for how to fill out those prompts as well. It's always a blast. I always have a great time participating in Bizarre's manga readathons. So, like I said, go check him out. Link is down in the description box below. And I think that's all I have to talk about today. We definitely are planning to go see the Lilo and Stitch live action movie sometime. I just don't know when. But hopefully in the next couple weeks, we'll be doing that. Got a couple other Disney days planned throughout the month. Upcoming month as well, so that should be a lot of fun. And so yeah, I think that's all I have to chat with you about today. Let me know down in the comments below what you've been up to, what you've been reading, what you've been watching, what you've been working on. I would really love to know. And if nothing else, you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me some kind of celebratory emoji down in the comments below for another finished item, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.